my life. Just talking about how it was coming up, different aspects of my family life, different stories that I will eventually put in a book. I think the last time I was talking about, my dad, which, as I stated, the man that raised me is John Walker, and the man that is my biological is supposedly Jesse D. Harris. Never did a DNA test, never found out what the real truth is behind it. But he did pass away, rest in heaven. And from what I know, he wasn't a, everybody had a past, everybody make mistakes. He wasn't like from what I've been told, he wasn't a very bad person. He meant well in whatever endeavors he was doing. He just, it was just how it was back then. A lot of men had 1, 2, 3 families, or if not that, if they had a family, they had kids on the outside. Even myself fell into the statistics with that. But we'll talk about that in another video. Yeah, it's so much. But yeah, I remember vividly as a baby, we stayed in the apartments. They called the high rise in Shelby, Mississippi at the time. And as I stated, I think I stated in the video that my dad and I used to sit on the floor, and he would bring toys from off the road. He was an 18-wheeler driver. He would bring toys off the road, Tonka trucks, dump trucks, backhoe diggers and stuff, like that. And he also would bring different type of sand or rocks from off the road, or different type of materials, and we would lay on a either sheeted pallet or a blanket. He would pour the materials out. He would set the construction site up with the toys. I never forget it. It would be the Tonka trucks and on the construction site. So that's basically what we did. I never forget it. Some of my most memorable times in my life. My mom would be in the kitchen cooking, washing dishes or whatever, and it was a wooden couch, the old school wooden couch with the 3 pillows on the seat in the back. Onto my old school, and he would sometimes sit back there and watch TV, watch westerns and different shows like that. George Jefferson's Sanford and Son, just a bunch of old shows that I remember just sitting there with him and watching. Like I said, some of my most proud moments, that I'm proud of as a grown up, looking back at my childhood, just hanging out with my dad, just glad I got a chance to experience that. A lot of people don't even know how that feels. It's just, vibe with your father. And when I grew up, as I got older now, he and I, we wasn't close, but he wasn't the type of man that had a lot of words, He would joke around, and, if you know him, you know him. He joke around, he loud, but he just, the conversation as far as, speaking on things, from a conversationalist, like, he wasn't he was straight to the point, joking or, working. That's all, that I knew of him. Maybe he was different around different people, I don't know. But around me, that's all I knew. All I saw was him working his tail off, So yeah, we stayed in an apartment. I think it was a 2-bedroom apartment, and my brother had to be a baby. I never forget it. We had a white and green blanket on the bed. The windows was, as soon as you walk in the room, you can see the window that way. You can see out in nothing but fields, because we live in the Delta, flatland. You can see nothing but cotton fields or beans or whatever they used to plant. And I just sit in that room and play, or we stayed on the second floor. So some days I would be out there on the balcony, not the balcony, but like the little front stoop that's on the second floor, because you walk down the stairs and then you make another turn, you walk down them stairs, and so that's where we stayed. And I'll be out there playing. My mama stated, here's a story she stated that happened. I fell from the second floor from the top, and it wasn't, for a kid, it wasn't a short fall. And I fell. It was cold outside, and I fell, and I don't know what happened. I don't remember it. I often have dreams of falling. Maybe that was the correlation to the memory that, I don't know, but I don't remember it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's what I remember. Mom's told me I feel. She told me as a kid a couple times I had pneumonia. I think once or twice. But yeah, I remember just living over there, and growing up out there in the apartment complex called the High Rise. My mama used to, take me with her down the street to one of her friends' house. There used to be two guys, Stanley and Leo, I think, or Stanley and somebody. And it used to be my mom's and one of her homegirls, or two of her homegirls, and they all used to play spade. They were young, man. My mom had to be every bit of 20, 18. If I was 3, 4, and can remember, or 2, 3, 4, she had to be every bit of in her early 20s, 21, 22, 23. And cause I think she had me when she was 19. So they used to get together, just like modern days, and play spades and have a few drinks. There's just a few of the things I remember as a child. And as I got older, 4, 5, 6, I remember playing in the yard with different kids. And my auntie stayed right across the apartment way on the second floor. Her name was Magnolia Walker. I'll never forget that. And I got two cousins, Pookie and Dre, and also Vivian. It was 3, matter of fact, 3 cousins that stayed with them across the way. So I remember that. They were older than me. They were 5, 6, maybe 10 years older than me. I don't know. A few years older than me. So I remember stuff like that, But, it's good stuff, man. Good times. I wouldn't take none of it back. I remember my dad taking me and my brother with him to Florida, where I live now. He took us to the Everglades down at the bottom of Florida. We were in his 18-wheeler, and I remember sleeping in his cab. And we would stop along the way at truck stops, and he would buy us more Tonka Choys and trucks and things like that right there. And just good times, man, with my pops. I appreciate that man, man. I love that man. And I don't ever tell him, man, I love that man, cause if it weren't for him, I'm telling you, if it weren't for him, hey, I'm telling you, I ain't no telling, man. Ain't no telling. With the way I am, and that's probably why I was so nice and observant as a kid. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mess with nobody, man, because I had a good pops. Like, I had a good person to look up to as a kid. That's important coming up as a kid. That's one of the most vital things that I think made a good impact on my life. My mama was cool as far as, personality wise. She was laid back. She wasn't no fighter. She wasn't no, hood, outrageous, just, acting a fool with nobody. She would go to her little spade games, probably go out to the clubs, because she would leave me with her mother. And I remember, always crying because my mom used to leave me over there and go out with her friends. My dad would go uptown and play pool, stuff like that, But they were good people, genuine, good people. They made their mistakes. I'm not going to sit here and act like they were 100% perfect. But they, as far as their hearts, they meant well. From what they were raised up off of, they meant well. I can't tell you that, my mama and my daddy, they were just horrible people. Like, no. I had good parents, still do to this day. Both of them still alive, thank God. So, I praise, you know what I mean? God, man, that, they still alive and they still, kicking it. And for all the good things that I did have as a kid, Tim taking me to parades. We had a fair that used to come to this town, a little bitty fair, had a little small fair for the kids. Man, I used to love going there, getting the cotton candy, hitting the rides. It was a year-round thing. I think twice a year they came, because it was like fields. Like, it was fields. Like, right at this moment, there's an apartment building built on that land, but it was just a field with nothing on it. And then you had the gym across from it. And then you had, I don't even think you had an apartment complex. You got 2 apartment complexes on that land. It was just land. Like, from there to the main road where, all the 18-wheelers are called. Because in my town that I grew up in, that I was born in, you got Highway 61. Highway 60 run, and then you got a train track, that runs on the side of that little highway. And it was the main highway. It was a 1 lane this way and 1 lane that way. And you had the train track on the left side if you're going north, and on the right if you're going south. And on the side where the train track at was nothing but field and a cotton gin. Well, my dad used to drive 18-wheelers when he, came off the road. He would drive 18-wheelers and haul cotton seeds and cotton and beans. He worked for these little farms around our little area, And I remember going out to the farms with him, And that's when I was introduced to ATVs, like 4-wheelers, 3-wheelers, farm equipment. I got an understanding of who some of his co-workers were, and he worked with one of his friends. I remember Charles Skinner. That's one of his names of one of his friends. He was a wild cat, but he was cool though. Charles Skinner was a cool cat. But that's, one of the ones I remember he worked with. And, like I said, they used to take me to the fairs, and just the smell in the air, I would never forget the vibes. And, it was good times, man. I think before I was in Head Start, or like during Head Start, I think I was in Head Start. I remember Head Start playing with the little kids and, other kids, and the smell of the crayon, the smell of the building. The kids that were in there with me, I remember some of those kids. I remember on the playground, we would go outside and monkey ball swing. And it was a small area. It wasn't no huge, you know what I'm saying? But I remember that type of stuff. And then, after going to my grandma's house and waiting on my mom to come get me, and, I used to home for me was the ultimate, security and comfort. Like, I wanted to be at home. I remember going to my grandma's house and not even want to be there. And I love my grandma, don't get me wrong. But I used to not want to be at my grandma's house. I just wanted to go home because I knew that was my safe place. That was my safe place, home. So, just some stuff I remember, And then the book that I'm going to write, it's going to be more in depth. It's going to be more in depth. It's going to be more specific. But you got to sit down and go over all that material. But in this video, in this vlog, it's just a breakdown of different things. I can make 365 videos and still not get to the cream de la creme of all the things that I saw, went through from then until now. So hey, it's gonna be videos, right? That's what I said. I was thinking of videos to do, and a vlog of just my life, me, and this is what we're doing. So yeah, part 4 coming out soon.